Warning. The following video will contain content that is not appropriate for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back for another one of my Pokemon Battle Revolution. And it is Discussion Battles. Fuck yeah. Alright, so I'm here today to finally set the record straight on some shit, because apparently people don't under-fucking-stand this shit, even though shit's really not as difficult to understand as some people seem to make it out to be, even though they're all a bunch of fucking idiots. So look, here's the thing. You've been hearing a lot in the news over the past, year or so about January 6th, the worst event that's ever happened in American history, according to fucking CNN. The most trusted name in news. Like the most dumb shit name in news. And here's the thing. I'm sick and tired of hearing about January 6th this, January 6th that. January 6th was not that bad. Granted, I will be the first one to say this. I do not condone what happened on January 6th at all. I think most of the people who were there were idiots, when I make it abundantly clear. I think pretty much all protests are meaningless, pointless, and solve nothing, and are pretty much stupid, which is why I do not partake in any, protests or any shit like that. Mostly just because I think, again, it's stupid and it solves nothing. So, again, I want to make it abundantly clear. I do not condone what happened at the Capitol on January 6th. I want to make it abundantly clear. But at the same time, I'm sick of these people treating January 6th like it's the worst fucking event in American history. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about events in American history and compare them to January 6th. So let's first talk about January 6th. A lot of Trump supporters rushed the Capitol, and in some cases were invited into the Capitol by Capitol Police, literally waving them into the Capitol. You know how many people died in connection with January 6th? And this is a very liberal estimate, by the way. Some of these deaths are stretching. You know how many people died during January 6th or as a result of January 6th, according to certain media outlets? And this is, again, a very liberal estimate. 7. 7 people died in connection with January 6th. 7. Just 7. Now, granted, that's 7 too many. But still, 7. You have all these anchors on CNN and MSNBC, CBS, and ABC. Comparing January 6th to things like 9/11 or Pearl Harbor or the Civil War. And I'm going to explain to you today why those comparisons are utterly and laughably ridiculous, and why January 6th, compared to those events, was pussy-ass level shit. Okay? That was pussy level shit. Okay. And I'm not even going to talk about the Black Lives Matter riots that, in 2020 that killed many more people than what died at January 6th, or because of January 6th. I'm not even going to talk about the billions in property damage that those riots caused. I'm not even going to talk about it. Instead, I'm going to talk about specifically other events in American history, because all these anchors seem to want to compare January 6th to other horrible events in American history. Okay, let's do it. I say let's fucking do it. Let's compare January 6th, the worst event in American history according to all these media outlets. Let's compare January 6th to all these other horrible events in American history, shall we? Let's fucking do it, because they're the ones who want to compare it to 9/11, Pearl Harbor, and the Civil War. January 6th is the worst thing that's happened since the Civil War, according to CNN. Okay, let's compare events, shall we? Okay, First things first, let's compare January 6th to 9/11 2021. On that day, 4 planes were hijacked, 2 that crashed into the World Trade Center, 1 that crashed into the Pentagon, and 1 flight that was stopped by a lot of brave people. Now, you know how many people died during 9/11? You know how many people died during 9/11? 2,977 people died during 9/11. 2,977 people died during 9/11. To recap, how many people died during January 6th? 7. Seven people died. So, comparing 9/11 to January 6th. Yeah. Okay, but you want to tell me that January 6th was worse than 9/11. Okay. 9/11, the same event where 2,977 people lost their lives. Versus January 6th, an event where 7 people lost their lives. But apparently January 6th is the worst thing that's ever happened in American history. Okay. Let's talk about another one, shall we? Let's continue on here. Pearl Harbor. That was the sneak attack by the Japanese that ended up leading to America joining World War II. And obviously once America joined, it was over from the start because America's the best fucking country in the world, or at least it was at that time. So y'all want to compare January 6th to Pearl Harbor. Okay, let's compare the two, shall we? That day that will live in infamy. As Chuck Schumer recently said on the floor of the House Senate, January 6th is a day that will also live in infamy. Okay, let's talk about a day that has lived in infamy since 1941, shall we? Let's talk about Pearl fucking Harbor. You know how many people died during Pearl Harbor? Anyone out there want to take a guess? Anyone want to Google it real quick? Because quite a few people died on that day. That day that will always live in infamy. A day that will actually be remembered and lived in, that day that will actually live in infamy. You know how many people died during Pearl Harbor? 2,403 people lost their lives that day. During the attack on Pearl Harbor, 2,403 people lost their lives that day. Now let's compare that to January 6th, shall we? How many people died in connection with January 6th? 7. 7 people lost their lives on January 6th. Compared to the 2,403 people that died during the attack on Pearl Harbor, a day that will live in infamy. But January 6th was totally the worst thing that's ever happened in American history. 7 people died in connection with the January 6th riot at the Capitol. Compared to 2,403 people that died during the attack on Pearl Harbor. But you know what? I'll let you guys decide for yourselves which one you think is worse. Now, moving on. Here's probably the most heinous comparison, in my humble opinion. You have a lot of these anchors on CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, comparing what happened on January 6th at the Capitol. They have been comparing it to the Civil War. So, anyone want to guess how many Americans died fighting the Civil War to end slavery? Anyone? Although, to be fair, some of them were the Confederates, but, still. You know how many people died during the Civil War? Because all these, cable news anchors, they all want to compare January 6th to the Civil War. They all say it's the worst thing that's happened in American history since the Civil War, despite what happened on 9/11 and despite what happened in Pearl Harbor. Okay, you want to say that January 6th is the worst event that has happened in American history since the Civil War. They are comparing January 6th to the Civil War. Okay, I'll take them up on that. I will fully take them up on that. Let's do it, folks. Let's compare January 6th to the Civil fucking War. Anyone want to guess how many people died during the Civil War? Any takers out there? Anyone want to guess? I'll tell you. Here's how many people died during the Civil War. 620,000 people died fighting the Civil War. At that time, that was 2% of the entire population of the United States of America. 2% of all Americans died fighting the Civil War. 620,000 people died fighting the Civil War. So let's compare that to January 6th, shall we? Let's fucking do that. Since all these cable TV hosts want to fucking compare it to the Civil War, let's fucking do it! So, for the Civil War, you got a body count of 620,000. How many people died at the Capitol or because in connection with the Capitol riot that happened on January 6th? 7. These people want to compare January 6th to the Civil War, where 620,000 people died. Say that it's the worst. Say that January 6th is the worst fucking event that has happened in American history since the Civil War. You know what happened in between the Civil War and January 6th? Pearl Harbor, where 2,403 people died. You know what else happened in between the Civil War and January 6th? 9/11, where 2,977 people lost their lives that day. And you all want to compare that shit, the Civil War, Pearl Harbor, and 9/11 to January 6th, where 7 people died, compared to the thousands of people that died during 9/11, the thousands of people that died during Pearl Harbor, the hundreds of thousands of people that died during the Civil War, versus the not even 10 people that died in connection, not even at the Capitol, in connection with the January 6th riot at the Capitol. These people in the media are liars, and they are assholes, and they are trying to push a false narrative onto the American people that January 6th is the worst thing that ever fucking happened in American history. And again, it was certainly not a great moment. I will be the first one to admit it. I fully condone, I do not condone what happened on January 6th. I want to make it abundantly clear. I fully condemn it, is what I meant to say. I fully condemn what happened on January 6th, 100%. But again, to compare it to things like 9/11, Pearl Harbor, and the Civil War, you make yourself sound like a fucking idiot. So all it takes is basic research to find out, oh, wow, these cable news hosts have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, and they're all fucking idiots. I literally did just a basic web search to find all those numbers. And yes, I know what some of you all are thinking. You're thinking, whoa, Multi-Step actually did research for this one? Holy shit. Yeah, because to be fair, most of the time I just talk off the cuff, so most of the time I just kind of wing it, But yeah, no, I actually looked up all these numbers and shit. So you're telling me that the Civil War was on par with what happened in January 6th? Really? Because if you honestly try to make that argument, you're just going to make yourself sound like a fucking dipshit. It's not even a contest. When you talk about the amount of strife, lives lost, the hardship, January 6th was pussy level shit compared to what happened on 9/11, Pearl Harbor, and during the Civil War. It's not even a goddamn contest. Comparing January 6th to those events is retarded. And that's the takeaway here. These media corporations are lying to the American people, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Your job is to report the fucking news. Do your job. You claim to be unbiased, and it's bullshit, and people know it. At least the smart people do. Y'all are biased, and look, I'm not even saying that it's bad to be biased. I'm just saying own up to it. Fucking CNN. Oh no, we're a neutral source. We're not liberal. Bullshit. I would have a lot more respect for these companies like CNN and shit like that if they just came out and said, yeah, we're liberal. I'd be like, okay. You know, it's like Fox News where they straight up say, yeah, we're conservative. I'm like, okay, I can respect that. Just admit it, you fucking fuckers. You're lying to the American people and you fucking know it. You're misrepresenting shit and you fucking know it. And it's about damn time someone stood up and called you out for your bullshit. And people are starting to wake the fuck up. They're starting to see your fucking bullshit for what it is. And they're scared as hell that all their power is going to erode away. As it has been. Because people have been calling them out on their bullshit. And people are starting to see the media for what it really is. A bunch of liars and scum fucking bags. So, honestly, I just want people to shut the fuck up about January 6th. It's annoying always hearing, oh, January 6th was the worst thing that ever happened. No, it fucking wasn't. Shut the fuck up. January 6th was pussy level bullshit compared to what happened on other actual horrible events in American history. So shut the fuck up, because I'm sick of hearing your bullshit fucking lies. Fuck you. You're misrepresenting it and you fucking know it. So shut the fuck up. Alright. Well, either way, that's all I have to say, so anyway, it's on to the next one, so stay tuned for that shit coming up next. And until then, peace out.